So there are some things you probably want to know about your vocabulary before you do your exercise for today. So I've got a story. So here is the Flugreise vocab number 3, cultural concepts. So first off, this is Lufthansa. There's not any story with this. It's just I thought you should know that there's an airline called Lufthansa. If you go to a major airport like Chicago or even Columbus, Cincinnati, you probably will see Lufthansa planes. You'll see that that's what the symbol looks like. It's like a goose of some sort with the silhouette of a goose with a golden moon in the background. It's in the news from time to time. You've probably never heard of it until now, and then now that you've heard of it, you'll probably be like, "Oh yeah, they were just talking about that on the news the other day." All right, so last year I told you the bread story, right? Well, this is the same hour. Okay, so I went downstairs after the bread story, my major fiasco there, and I'm tired and I want to just go take my nap. And so I thought, you know what, before I take my nap, I'm going to plug in my alarm clock. For some reason, I thought that that would be a comforting thing. So I get my alarm clock out and I go to plug it in, and this is what I see. And I'm like, how do I plug in my alarm clock? So I learned from the previous 20 minutes and asked Mark. I said, "Hey, Mark, could you help me out here?" And so he gives me this, because that's what the plugs look like. In Germany, they've got 2 prongs that are circular instead of what we're used to, right? So, and then I could plug in my alarm clock in the back here, and no problem. I thought that the word genius in the background just was perfect, because I was definitely not a genius in this area. So here's what you don't know, is that in the US, the voltage in the walls, that in the sockets, is 120 volts. So when we plug something in, that appliance is designed for 120 volts. Well, the current in Germany is 220 volts. Actually, it's all of Europe. You'll see down here, you can see that this, you can flip that up and you can have the adapter that goes with it. Well, so here's what happened. I plugged in my alarm clock with that adapter. And then I turned around and I was getting my my bed together to take my nap, and then I was like, "What's that smell?" And I turned around and my alarm clock was smoking. And I was like, "Why does Germany smell like burned plastic?" Well, my alarm clock died that day because it overloaded the circuit. It tried so hard to get enough electricity from the walls that it just burned right up. So I needed one of these to do that. Now, so if you were to travel to Europe, you would want to buy one of these for any appliance that you're going to use, an alarm clock, possibly a hair dryer or a curling iron or a hair straightener or any or electric razor. However, you can also, and go ahead and do this today, look at those appliances that you might take, especially the hair stuff, and see if there's a little switch. A lot of times you'll see it's just a circle with a line in it that maybe you could use a quarter to switch, and it might say 110 and 220 or 120 and 220. See if any of your appliances have that, because you could just switch those things and not need one of these adapters. You could use one of these adapters. So that's my story, and I hope you can learn from my mistakes. Enjoy.